Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in to Weekly Spirit Boost. I am Tammy Mastroberti, best-selling author of the book The Universe is Talking to You, and soon to come in April, The Higher Help Method. And I help people to tap into the higher helpline of the universe that is available to us to solve any problem, to make any decision, to manifest or create anything that we desire. And hopefully you have been following along with this free summit that launched on Tuesday with my friend and amazing psychic medium, author, teacher, Marilyn Oloria. And today we actually, after I get off with you guys, I'm going to prep for the interview at 1:00 with Julie Renee Doring, who's amazing work when it comes to healing the body, healing anything. I mean, she's incredible. We have such amazing people, and the summit is completely free, and it runs through April. Only 2 live interviews per week, and you can sign up for free. Link in my bio in Instagram, and as well as Hi from Maine on Instagram, and also underneath the video in YouTube and Facebook. But it's just elevatedexistencesummit.com to join us, and I'll be talking about that for months because that's what we have going on. I just came up. Okay, good. So anyway, that is going on, and the summit has been amazing so far, and I'm having a great time as always. And tomorrow, Friday, I'll be live just for people in the summit doing oracle card readings as well. So be sure to join us for that. So what I wanted to come on here today to talk about, besides the amazing free summit that I hold every year, that's in season 11, is I wanted to talk about getting triggered. You guys know that I always like to come on here and I like to talk about things that are either going on in my life or going on with clients, or themes that have come up with the people around me, or anything that was sort of a teachable moment, either for me or me working with someone else, that I think would help you on your spiritual path, in your day-to-day life. And so I think we all have things that trigger us, that annoy us, whether it be situations, whether it be people. Yes, there was an email, I believe, Ruth, that went out. I can double check that for you about the summit today, but it is at 1:00 today. Yeah, it did go out. So if you didn't get it for some reason, make sure you email Mary Jane and support@elevatedexistence.com to make sure that you are on the list. But it did go out like 7 a.m. this morning. Okay, so we all get triggered, right? We all get aggravated by certain situations or certain people in our lives. And maybe you have found a way to be peaceful about certain things in your life, but yet there's still those people, or there's still those situations. It could be coworkers, it could be neighbors, it could be family members, it could be friends. Sometimes there are people that trigger us that you can't end the relationship without repercussions or without losing something else that you don't want to lose, right? There's a lot of different situations, I think, in life that come up where you just can't disconnect from someone, but you have to somehow deal with them, right? And everybody's situation is different. I'm talking about things that you are involved in and just need to find a way to cope with it, need to find a way to deal with it, need to find the way to find peace with it, right? So last month, I was doing a automatic writing session, which I teach. Many of you have probably been in classes that I've done that with. And I was doing it with my guides, and one particular guide came through about a situation that I have been dealing with. And just this one particular situation that it's just been building up, I think, over time, and it's gotten away from me. And I'm sort of like, I need to find a way to find more peace with this, to find more radical acceptance, right, in this area of my life. Because sometimes there's things that we have no control over. Often that is other people or situations around us that we just don't have control over. And we have to find a way to accept it. We have to find a way to deal with it. We have to find a way to move through it in a peaceful way, not for the other person, for us, right? And so in doing that, my guide had said to me, you can choose peace. And I was like, oh, why is my phone ringing? Hold on. My phone should not be ringing. And I don't know how to stop it. Sorry, Instagram. Hopefully I come back. Let me know if I'm back on Instagram. I had it on do not disturb, but that had to have been hold on. It's my husband, because he's an emergency contact and he comes through. Jesus, take the wheel. Let me just text him that I'm doing a live and he's messing up. Okay, I'm like, stop calling me. Text me if you need something, dear Lord. He actually, I can't complain. He's taking my car to get an oil change, so he's probably calling about something with that. So, and he is not the one, by the way, that drives me. I mean, he drives me insane, but I've found peace with him. Okay, so anyway, he goes to me, I didn't mean to, sorry. Okay, so hopefully I'm still live on Instagram and that didn't screw everything up. We'll see. And so that's what my guide said to me. You need to choose peace, or you can choose peace. Feel what you're feeling, but then choose peace. And I understood. And I did a video about this. If you saw it, I did it on Instagram, Facebook. I did like a reel on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok about it. And it's like, listen, a person will trigger you. A person will do something that gets you going. And especially if it's been ongoing and it's almost like you're anticipating it. I know a lot of people have family members where like, gosh, I have to go see this person. And God, they always ask me the same question, or they always annoy me about the same thing, or whatever it might be, right? But there's a point in that trigger where we have a choice. Now, maybe for a long time, you have just allowed your reaction to be automatic and you haven't dialed it back, right? But there is a point in a trigger where there is a choice on how you're going to react to it. And that's where the choice comes of choosing peace, right? So get aggravated, go, oh my God, I knew they were going to do this again, or I knew they were going to say this again, or I knew this situation was going to happen again, or whatever it might be. Hi, Callie, my cat. But then there's a moment where you can go, I just need a minute, right? Like I'm going to consciously take a minute. And here, if you know me by now, you know what I'm going to tell you to do. Here is where you stop and you call in your higher help, because you don't have to do it by yourself. You don't have to do anything in this world, in this universe, by yourself. So if you know that a situation triggers you, and sometimes you're going into it, you're going to see the person, you're going to be in the situation. Sometimes it hits you out of left field, even though you're used to it, right? It's just like all of a sudden something will pop up around this particular person or situation, and you're like, here we go again, right? That's when you have your higher helpers ready, and you stop and you go, I'm going to need a minute before I allow myself to spiral. I'm going to need a minute. And I'm going to give myself a minute before I go down the road of losing my shit. I said it. So that's where you call in the higher helpers, right? And the first person that I always call in, and by the way, before I say that, around the choosing peace thing, it's not like we don't know that. It's not like we don't know, like I could probably take another route, right? And I just feel like my guide was reminding me, like, Tammy, you do this in so many areas of your life where you stop and you go, no, everything happens for a reason. And I talk to myself and I'm like, it's going to be okay. No matter what, I can feel what I'm feeling, but I'm going to be okay. And I know how to do it, right? But there are certain people or certain circumstances, and we all have them, that it is harder to do it. Why? Because there was a huge, huge lesson in there for you. The universe is trying to teach you something. That person is playing that role and triggering you and annoying you because they are meant to teach you something, right? So, and we're always going to have it. As soon as you find a way to find peace with whatever situation you're going through now, another one's going to pop up. That's the universe. That's the way it works. We're always learning. We're always growing. So when my guide said that to me, I was like, I'm not doing it in this area. Right. So when I'm talking about higher helpers, the first person that I always go to when it comes to shifting my mind around something, seeing things from a different perspective, choosing peace, choosing joy, choosing positive rather than negative, the person that I always go to is my favorite, Archangel Jophiel. And that is the angel, Archangel Jophiel is the angel of beauty and allows you to see things from a more beautiful perspective, can shift your mindset from negative to positive. And so in the moment, that is my go-to. Please help me shift out of this. Please help me shift out of this in terms of my mindset, right? In terms of getting my head out of that space of spiral, if that makes sense. And so, oh, Mary Jane was saying it's a sign. You mean that my husband was calling me? And that husbands do that, even the good ones. Oh, he's a good one. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it probably was it was probably, see, I needed to choose peace in that moment. I did though. I said, nice. Can you please stop? Can you please stop calling me? Oh my gosh, Angela, I'm sorry, I just got distracted. I'm so happy that you got it. I'm so happy that you got it. Okay. So in addition to Archangel Jophiel, right, which is my mindset person, there's a lot of people that you can call on to shift you in the moment. So there's art, and I want to share them with you because I know that there are people watching this that go, man, so and so does trigger me, or oh my gosh, I really do still get aggravated at this, or maybe you found a way to choose peace around one area, but this one little area of your life, man, you get triggered so quickly, right? And again, this is for you. I'm choosing peace for me. I'm choosing peace for my vibration. I'm choosing peace for my sanity, for my health, physical, emotional, spiritual, right? And so are you. So, another one that I would call on in the moment and literally have this out so that when you have those moments and you say, even if you're in front of someone and they're doing it, excuse yourself, right? Or if you know you're going to see that person. So let's say, and obviously the holidays are over, but let's just give it an example. It's a holiday, it's a birthday, it's something, and you're going to see that family member or that person that drives you nuts. Call these people in before. If you know you're going to be in the situation or with a person that triggers you, call them in before. I am talking about when it comes out of the blue, you weren't expecting it. You had no idea and you get triggered. Okay. So all of these people can be called in before as well as during. So the other person that I would call in is Archangel Haniel. Love me some Archangel Haniel. Amazing when it comes to opening you up to signs and synchronicities. But she also has the ability to kind of keep you centered and balanced no matter what's going on around you, kind of help in that area. And so that would be somebody else that I think I would call on in terms of the trigger, because you want to stay balanced. You could be grounded, balanced. You could have meditated. You could come out of that state. You could start your day and then you get thrown, right? So that is someone else I think that I would call on and look into. And again, I said Archangel Jophiel, who I love. So I just want to look at my list to see if there's anybody else specifically that's coming to me that I would have you guys that maybe I don't call on all the time, but I want to give you all your options. So Archangel Metatron, and by the way, I'm literally reading you guys this from the emotional healing section of my new book coming out in April. Thank you. I'm so excited about it. Archangel Metatron is someone who can help you clear and cleanse and release energy. So in the moment, you could call on Archangel Metatron to please help me release the emotions that are coming up and bubbling up in me by being triggered. Please help me release what is not serving me right now. If you are, Sorry, I just heard something running and I wanted to make sure that nothing was leaking in my house, but I just realized what it is. So the another person that I would call on in the midst of this, especially if you are kind of really stuck and need to find some freedom from the emotions that you are feeling. Goddess Kali is another one that I would call on. And, you know, in terms of stress, and this is a big one, and I learned this actually from my mother. Um, when you are feeling extremely stressed, maybe this is a before thing. And I use this person all the time, this higher helper. When you are feeling stressed, maybe it's before you're going into the situation and you want to better handle that. But you can use this person in the moment as well. It's from the Catholic faith. And I always have to say, if you're new to me, it doesn't matter what background you're from. On the other side, there is no religion. There is only connection. Everybody is connected. Can call on everybody. So there is someone in the Catholic faith called Padre Pio, and he's amazing when it comes to stress and anxiety and anything around that. So that is another higher helper that I would just kind of keep in your pocket for many areas, but definitely for an area where you are getting triggered. So my go-to is always Archangel Jophiel to shift me. But if there are other things going on, if it's a relationship issue, and let's say you are in it could be a relationship with anybody that you're in, whether it's a family member, whether it's your son or your daughter or whomever, there are archangels you can call on that help bring harmony to relationships. So you could call on Archangel Raguel, you could call on Archangel Raziel. Archangel Charity is another one that's amazing, for healing the heart and shifting energy around that. Healing, these angels are great for healing misunderstandings and things like that. But that's the first thing, right? So in addition to, well, actually it's the second thing. The second thing is calling in higher help. The first thing is noticing you're going to get triggered. If you know you're going to see the person or in the situation, please call in your higher help before you do it. Please take a minute. But if you're in the situation, taking a second and saying, wait a minute, I actually do have a choice. I have a choice. I have a choice. Sometimes I just say, Jesus, take the wheel. Like I just said before, please take the wheel and let me know what the heck I'm doing here. And again, you don't have to be Catholic to do that. And stopping yourself and saying like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. I have a choice. My energy is my business and I have a choice on how to control that. And so I'm just going to take a second and I'm going to call in these higher helpers. And I am going to maybe do some tapping real fast. Oh my gosh, let me tell you something. Without the energy work that I do, whether it's tapping, there's other energy clearing methods, in my new book, there's a whole chapter just on shifting your energy and methods to do it. There are so many things. I actually have taught a whole class just on shifting your energy. There are so many things you can do in the moment to shift your energy with your physical body. That can be tapping. There's something in Qigong called, literally, it's called shaking, where you start and you just start shaking you stand with your feet apart and you start shaking your hands, and then you're shaking your whole arms, and then you're bouncing your leg. And you just get to the point where your whole body is just shaking, and you are shaking off that energy that is now bubbling up within you because you're triggered and you want to shoot someone. I shouldn't say that. I'm probably going to get in trouble on the internet, but you know what I'm saying. When you get triggered and you're like, nah. So, and everybody gets triggered in different ways. I'm just giving you the exaggerated version. So there are so many things you can do to shift your energy, but here's the thing. I understood what my guides were saying is like, you can choose peace, like feel the feelings. You can get aggravated, but then you have to stop and say, I'm not going to allow this to spiral. I'm not going to, and by the way, so this is so easier said than done, depending on how triggered you get by people or situations. I'm just telling you, this is what to kind of shoot for and see, even if you can do a piece of this, even if you can stop for a second and call in the higher help, you have to do that because they will actually help you be able to shift, right? And that's what you ask for. You say, please shift my mindset. Please shift my emotions. Please help me release this so that I don't go down this road, so that I don't get myself upset and aggravated, lower my vibration, lower my point of attraction, ruin my day, feel crappy, mess up my health because now I have all this stuff running through, all these like, chemicals running through me from getting triggered. And you can say, you know what, I'm going to choose to look at this differently. I'm going to choose peace instead because I deserve it and because I'm not going to go down this road, right? Now, obviously, if there's like really deep rooted things, you need to get to the bottom of them is like, what is it about this that's triggering me and how can I accept that, right? And obviously, there's people you can go to help you with things like that. And then there's even energy therapists you can go to that can help you figure out what is it underneath the trigger that we can clear? What is it underneath the trigger that we can release, right? There's that deeper work that can be done and is always helpful. And I am constantly doing energy work on every area of my life because I find that it's so helpful. But I'm talking about in the moment, stopping yourself and saying, I need a minute, or just saying, you know what, I have a choice here. I have a choice here. I have a choice here. Like just for a second. Okay. And that doesn't mean that sometimes you're not going to go down that road and spiral. But at some point, you need to stop and say, I have a choice. I have a choice. I remember years ago hearing Wayne Dyer say, happiness is a choice we can make. It really is. It's only a thought away. It's about shifting your mindset. It's about shifting what you're focusing on. Again, easier said than done. But just knowing that these are options to you sometimes makes you feel a little bit more in control, a little bit better, knowing that I can do this. And it'll take time, but it's just so interesting. And when my guide said it to me, I'm like, oh gosh, yeah, I do this in so many other areas, right? So I need to bring my consciousness to the areas that I'm not doing it in. And that's what I'm saying to you is you just want to bring your conscious mind and the universal mind, the higher help with you to shift it. And you can shift it. And the best part is, again, if you're aware of being in the presence of someone, like if you go to work every day and your boss triggers you or your coworker triggers you, call in those higher helpers before you go and watch the difference of how you feel when it does happen. Watch the difference of maybe this time you will stop yourself and say, wait a second, I remember I can choose peace. And your higher helpers will help you to be able to do it. That's what's so amazing about the universe and the angels and the guides and the higher helpers that we have available to us is that the things that we are not able to do alone, we don't have to do alone. If you call in the higher help, it makes everything that I am saying here easier to do. So why would we be living our life without that, right? And I remind myself of that all the time when I think like, oh my gosh, I have this issue. What am I going to do? And I'm like, why am I asking? What am I going to do? The first thing I always have to do is ask for the help to figure out what I need to do and then ask for the help to do it. Right. So nothing is done alone. And that includes that. But I wanted to share that with you because I feel like there's always something in our lives that is going to trigger us. And sometimes it's an ongoing issue that we've sort of let get out of control and that we haven't done something about. And there is always that option. And that's why there's something called radical acceptance. And it's not easy to do, which is why we call in the higher help. A lot of the things on the spiritual path are not easy to do. That's why there's so much support available to us. That's why the universe and its energy and our angels and our guides and loved ones who have passed on and all the archangels and the ascended masters and the gods and the goddesses and the saints and the everything you can possibly think of. That's why we have that support, because it is difficult to do on our own. And so that's what I wanted to share with you because it is a new year. And I'm sure many of you have already been triggered. What is it? January 11th. I'm sure somebody has annoyed you so far this year, right? Somebody has done something that, caused you to make 20 phone calls to people to say, can you believe this happened? Right. And so I thought, let me just share sort of what I do in that moment and how I am really intentionally going to do it in a particular area of my life now that my guides had said to me, around this, you can choose peace. And I was like, my God, you're right. I can. I can. I can. And that's so empowering. It's so empowering to know that this person can do whatever the heck they want to do, but you have a choice. You have a choice. And it makes a big difference in terms of feeling like, because sometimes when we're around people that trigger us, we think like, you get that victim mindset of like, oh my God, I'm not in control, or I can't do anything, or I can't stop this person from saying the same thing every time I see them at a family event or whatever it might be, right? So, and again, I'm not talking about my family. I love my family. But listen, not that they don't trigger me too, but so I just kind of feel like I wanted to share that with you because I think, and I also wanted to share with you that, hey, by the way, no matter where you are on your spiritual journey, no matter what's going on in your life, you're going to have stuff that comes up. You're going to have stuff that triggers you. Like over 10 years ago, I remember when I was doing my magazine, I went to an event, like a spiritual, I guess it was like a seminar or like a day-long thing. It was just like a day-long event. And there were a bunch of different speakers, like authors that were speaking. And Elanya Van Zant was one of the speakers. Funny, funny, funny. Loved her. But I remember she said, and you might have heard me say this before, but I just think it's so impactful. And I remember she said, listen, everybody up on this stage talking to you is still going through stuff, right? We don't have everything figured out. We've just figured out a little bit more than you have. And so we're up here sharing it with you. But that doesn't mean that we have everything figured out. That doesn't mean that we don't have issues. I'm paraphrasing. That doesn't mean that there are not things that we still struggle with, right? So all of the teachers and authors and people that you are following that have figured things out, they figured them out because they've been where you are. And that doesn't mean that they're not still figuring things out, because that's life, right? If you got to the point where you have learned anything, you don't learned everything, you don't need to be here anymore. You have graduated, go on the other side and help other people, right? But we are here to constantly grow and learn. So as soon as you figure one thing out, the next lesson is there. The next lesson is there. The next opportunity for growth, the next opportunity to love someone, to be compassionate for someone, to care about someone, to accept someone, to learn how to forgive, right? There's always going to be those opportunities. And I always loved when she said that, because she was like, listen, I'm not different than you. I've just figured some stuff out that I can share with you. And that's really how I feel. And that's why I like to come on here and just share stuff from my own life. And it's like, listen, as I figure stuff out, I teach it to you. That's sort of what I know that I'm meant to do here. And so that's why I wanted to come on here and share this, because I thought, well, listen, this is a great thought from my guides, but my gosh, anybody can do this. And so I just wanted to share with you what I was doing in hopes that it will help you in some way. Yes, she is a very motivational speaker. She's amazing. I absolutely adore her. So she hasn't been around as much, but this was, like I said, like 10 years ago. I remember seeing that and hearing that and saying like, oh man, that's so great. That makes so much sense. So anyway, I just want to make sure I didn't miss any crazy comments from anybody. And if anybody has any questions, while I'm on these lives, obviously I come on with the topic that I usually think of the night before. So there's not a lot of too much planning in these weekly spirit boosts, because I really like to address things that are going on in the moment. I like to kind of take it, let the universe take the lead with what I'm going to talk about. Yeah, Mary was saying thymus tapping helps. So those of you who don't know about thymus tapping, I learned that from energy therapist Amy B. Shear. She wrote the books How to Heal Yourself When No One Else Can, and your thymus gland is about an inch down from like the little U-shaped notch on your neck. Even if you don't know what to tap on, just tapping on that is good. But let's say you're feeling angry, because she teaches you how to find emotions to release, but let's just say you're feeling angry. You can just tap on that thymus gland and say releasing anger connected to the person that's aggravating you. And just tap on the thymus gland. She teaches like 7 taps for each one, but sometimes I just tap until I feel better. I'm going to be honest. But yes, that is the energy work and shifting your actual energy. It's shifting your mindset and shifting your energy. Those are 2 pieces that can help you choose the piece that you're trying to choose. And yes, yeah, and all of the things that I'm saying, by now I hope you guys know that everything that I give you, everything that I is always practical and doable. I just added those two words together. Practical and doable. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. Okay? I'm a type A Virgo. So my brain is always going. I always have a million things going on. I always have a lot of stuff. And I have to actually, one of the things that I have been consciously working on is just slowing down. Even in my day-to-day life, just slowing down. Like I talk fast. I mean, I'm Italian, so I blame it on that with talking with the hands, but just slowing down, like going to make dinner or walking from room to room, right? I don't have to be in like a like all the time. But that's sort of who I am and how I am. And so if the tools that I have found and created, I have to do them. If I'm not doing them myself, I know other people are not going to do them. And so what I'm sharing with you here to shift your energy to do, it doesn't take a lot of time. I'm talking about minutes. I'm talking about that's why I tell you 60 seconds, stop in the moment. Do your 60-second release, close your eyes, repeat a mantra for 60 seconds while you breathe. That shifts your energy in a minute, right? So these are all things that you can combine together to help yourself in any situation where you find yourself getting bubbled up with aggravation or anger or even sadness, even disappointment, even hurt, right? That's something that happens, when a lot of times when you think of triggered, you think like angry, aggravated, stuff like that. But I'm talking about like anything that sort of bubbles things up in you. There are ways to stop and make a choice. And sometimes making that choice is I'm going to call in the higher help. I'm going to do something to shift my energy really quick. And I'm going to do that 60-second release or retreat meditation that Tammy talks about, where she just closes her eyes and repeats a mantra like the word release to drain yourself of all of that emotion. And that's how I'm going to choose peace. That's how I'm going to choose me. And the more you do it, this is the best part about it, because in the beginning, it's going to be hard. You're going to forget, you're going to spiral, and then you're going to go, crap, I wasn't supposed to spiral. I was supposed to choose peace. Right. But the more you do it, the more you catch yourself, the more that you're going to do it in the future. It's going to become more of oh, here I go again. I recognize the sign. I need to do something differently here, right? My whole thing in the new year with the summit and all of that, as I say, if you want something different from last year, you need to do things differently this year. Which is why I do the summit in January every year, because it's literally a free 3-month event that's filled with information on how you can do things differently. And actually, I have to get going because I have to go prep for my interview with Julie Renee that is going live at 1:00. So if you sign up even if you sign up for the summit right now, you'll get the welcome email with the page where everybody is. And if you just go to Julie Renee's section, who is basically second on the page, you'll be able to listen to the audio. And then there's a free 48-hour replay. But she's talking about all mind body healing. She's healed herself from cancers and was told she would never walk again. She works with, changing DNA, and it's unbelievable. So we're going to be chatting about that shortly, and I'm going to go run and prep for that interview because I will be live in 19 minutes now with her. Is that correct? Yes. So I thank you all for being here. I hope this has helped you in some way. Please leave a comment or a question if you have it. If you have enjoyed this, please like the live, because that just helps it get out into the world, and I appreciate that. And share it with someone who you think maybe needs it, because I think everybody needs it in some area of their life, right? So tag someone who you think might need to listen to it. And I will be back here next Thursday, of course, for another weekly spirit boost. If you are a part of the summit, you will join me live tomorrow in Zoom for oracle card readings. And I will see you guys soon. Have an amazing and wonderful rest of your week into the weekend. And not only choose peace, but I always say to you, do something that brings you joy this weekend. I don't care if it's just for an hour. I don't care if it's just going to Starbucks and getting yourself a drink, or going to the bookstore and getting yourself a new book, or whatever you enjoy. I'm actually taking a class this weekend with my sister to learn how to do those blankets that are all over TikTok, the chunky knit blankets. I'm a throw lunatic, so I'm excited about that. So do something for yourself that brings you joy because you deserve it and it will boost your vibration. Sending you my love. I will see you guys here next week. Bye, everyone.